Let us look at the first exercise in Microsoft Excel. And in this exercise, we are supposed to create a worksheet that contains the details of the students, such as the roll number, name, class, and marks in 3 subjects. And we are supposed to calculate the total, average, and grade for every student. We are supposed to enter the details for 10 students, and then they have given the criteria for calculating the grade, and the grade can be distinction, first class, second class, pass, and fail. So this is pass and fail. And the condition that they have said is you can use our own condition, that is a normal condition. After that, they said that to sort the data using the class, like distinction first and then first class and so on and so forth, and then also sort using the descending order of the average marks, and finally draw a column chart. What I have done is I have already created a Microsoft Excel document for you, and in this I have added all the titles that the column titles that they have set, that is namely the roll number, name, class, marks in 3 subject, and total, average, and grade. So what I've done is I have created a Microsoft Excel workbook. In that I have the roll number, name, class, M1, M2, M3 are the marks in 3 subject, and then I have the total, average, and grade. Also, I have taken the liberty of typing the names of 5 different students. Let me start with their register number. I assume that the first student will have the register number R101. Once I have typed the first number, I'm going to click on this first number, and I'm going to go to the fill handle, so that this area that you see over here is the fill handle. So I'm going to click on the fill handle, and I'm going to drag it down until I have all the 10 records here. So remember, I'm dragging using the fill handle. So I have all the 10 roll number. Now I'm going to select all the 5 names which are there, and I'm going to replicate this. So I will click on the first name and click in the middle, not on the fill handle. Click in the middle and then make the selection. So click and drag and make the selection. Remember, click in the middle and then select the list. Now go to the fill handle and then drag it down. You will notice that it's going to repeat the names again. Let me type the class here. I assume that the first class is BA, then next class is BBA. Let me go and let me type next class as BCA, then say BCom, and then say BSA. So I have typed these classes. Again the same thing, I will click in the middle and then drag downwards. I will make the selection. After that, I'm going to go to the fill handle. Remember, this is the fill handle. Go to the fill handle and then drag it down. You are going to make the replication. Now I'm going to type the marks in such a way that first subject is fail. So let's say this is 34, which is a fail mark. Then let's say 35, 36, third mark. This is the pass grade, that is less than 50%. I assume that it is the pass grade. So less than less than the marks of 47, let's say. Okay, then I have the next mark 54. This is second class mark. I'm typing. I'm just typing it so that I know that I get the marks properly. Let me type the first class mark. Okay, and this is first class mark. Let me type a distinction mark here. So I'm going to just type the distinction mark. How to? Okay, so let's type the distinction marks. Say 76, 77, 78, so 79, something of that type. And maybe you can copy paste them again with the small changes, or you can type on your own. It's up to you. Whatever you want, you can do it. So I'm going to just select it and use the fill handle to drag it. Now if you try to do it, what it's going to do is you will get some marks which are greater than 100. So I will make them as smaller number, and maybe I will just put a pass marks here, and maybe okay. So you type something, and I'll select this one, and then maybe drag it using the fill handle. I'm dragging it, and maybe if these marks are not coming properly, you can just select it and just paste it. See what I'm doing it, even though I'm used to it, so you may not be used to it. So select any of them, and then you go to the border over here. So look at this one, the border over here, and if you drag it, the whole thing will come. Okay, this is the border. You have to go to the border, click on it, hold the control. If you see the when you hold the control, you see a plus mark there. So hold the control, drag it, and leave it to a place where you want it, and leave the mouse button first and then the control button. So this is how you do it. I will do it one more time for your thing. So I've selected few lines over here. Go to the edge here, border here. Okay, click and hold the control, drag it and leave it. Okay, so I'll try one more time, see how I'm doing it. So select marks of your choice, go to the border, hold the control, click and drag it. If you don't hold the control, it is moving, so it will move the data. Anyhow, if you can't do it, just fill the marks. So that's simple as that. Let's create the total. Total is nothing but the sum of these 3 marks. So I'm going to type the formula here. So let me type the formula, equal to, I'm going to say sum, open bracket, and then I'm going to click on this. So remember, click at the middle and drag it across. So 3 marks are selected. So click in the middle and then drag it. Don't select the other things. Close the bracket and press enter. It's all done. Once you have the first marks here, then you are going to go to the fill handle. Go to this fill handle here. Go to this fill handle and then drag it down. So you have all the total getting created. Let's go to the average. Again, same thing. I'm going to type equal to average. I think I by mistake pressed the caps lock. Okay, let me try again. Okay, so let's say average. Okay, average. Okay, done. Again, when you are selecting the average, see to it that you are selecting only these 3 marks, not the total. Don't take the total again inside the average. You will get a very wrong average altogether. So only 3 marks average is required. Close it with the closing bracket, press enter. You got the average. Click on this, drag it down. Okay, and you have it there. Now suppose this is extra thing, this is not really required for your examination, but suppose you want to make it look neat with the number of zeros being shown over here. What you can do here is you can go to the home. Under this home you have an option here. This is the option, and these options are there to increase or decrease the decimal spaces. So I'm going to just show you. Suppose if you click on this one, increase the decimal places, you can see number of after dot, number of zeros or number of digits are getting increased. If you reduce it, number of dots will be reduced. So you can just keep 2 decimal places or maybe 0 decimal places. That makes it look neat, but it's not asked in the examination. If at all you want, you can do it. So this one is this is available under the home itself. Under home you see this option, 2 dot followed by 2, like this. Increase decimal places, decrease decimal places. If at all you want, you do it, otherwise leave it. Let's calculate the grade. Now I assume that if the student has failed in any of this subject, that is if the marks is less than 35 in one or more subject, then the student is failed. So this is the condition. So I'm going to type the formula here. So I'll start with the formula, equal to, if a student has less than 35 in any of this subject. So how do I do that? So any one subject. So I will start with the or. So if, and then I'll type the or, then I'll take the first marks, that is subject mark, that is I'm going to click on the first subject here, and I'm going to say if this marks is less than 35, or this or means or, so this is the one condition, or if this marks, it can this time this marks is 35, but it may be less than 35 also. So if this mark is less than 35, so I'm using this or, again I'm putting a comma to say that the last one, if this is less than 35, now any one of them can be less than 35, that's the meaning of it. So what I want to say is if any of these marks is less than 35, so that's the meaning of it. If any of these marks are less than 35, so that's the meaning. So if D2, that means the first marks is less than 35, or, so this is or is there, or E2 less than 35, or F2 less than 35. If any of them is less than 35, then the result is fail. According to them, the result is fail. I'll put a comma. Let me put the next condition. If the student has passed in the subject, if this is not the case, that means none of the marks are less than 35, then we will have to check their average. So I will start with the next if condition. If I will go to this average now. Remember, if the student has passed, then only this average will come. Suppose this is not the case, that means student has got more than 35 in all the subject, but the average is less than, let me say, 50%. Then I assume that the student has passed. So this is the grade is pass grade. Okay. Then let me go to the next second class condition. So if, again I'm going to start, if this average, now this is 35, this average can be 46 or anything, so I'm writing it for the first row, even though it has come to the next row, it means I'm still writing the formula for the first row itself, then I'm going to replicate it for the other rows. So if this average is less than 60, remember between 50 and 60, you know that if you get the average, that means your marks is second class. So I'm going to say second class. So done. Let me put one more if condition. And what's the if condition? If the marks is in between 60 and 75. So how do I say that? If the average is greater than 60 but less than 75. So it is greater than 60 and less than 75. Okay, so if that is the case, then it is first class. So I'm going to say then it is first class. And finally I'm going to say if none of this condition is satisfied, that means the student has not failed, student has no pass mark, no second class, no first class. And what is left over is there is no need to check again. The leftover is distinction. If none of this condition, distinction, okay, my spelling is proper. Okay, now it's a time to close all the brackets that you have opened. From here you have opened the bracket. One thing you must notice is the first bracket that you open is the bracket which has a black color. So try to close until you get that black color closing bracket. So let me close the first one, it is green in color. Let me close the second one, it is in maybe lavender in color, maybe this is in pink in color, and when I close the last one it is black in color. That means my formula, the closing brackets are all done. Let me press enter, and I got my grade, and definitely it is fail because you know very well 1 mark is less than 35. Now I'm going to go to the fill handle here and I'm going to drag it down to make the replica of all of them. So I have first class, distinction, and so on and so forth. So I have few marks here. Let me make one student at least one extra distinction. I want just this is one distinction is there. Let me make this person. So I'm just playing around with the marks. to make two distinction, at least two distinction, and maybe pass fail is there, so two distinction. So this is just to make the things easy. This part completes the first section over here. Let's go to the second one. Second one is we are supposed to create the custom sort. That means we have to sort it in such a way that the distinction will come first, then the first class, then the second class, and then so on and so forth. Okay, so let's do that thing now. Because I already given you a demonstration in the class, I have this list with me. So this sorting order I already have in my custom list. I'm going to delete that thing and then do it. So during your examination, it may so happen that the first person who has completed the work on the same machine, if you are lucky enough, you may already have that list with you. In that case, delete that list and recreate it. I'm going to show it to you how it is done. So just click on anywhere within this table, and then I want to sort it. So how to sort this one? Just go here and you have the option here to sort. Okay, this is there directly in the home directory over here, home, and you have a sort. Okay, you have the sort option here. So under home you have the option for sort and filter. I'm going to select this option, sort and filter. Okay, click on it, and I'm going to go to the custom filter. This is the option. I'm going to select it, custom sort. Let me click on that sort and custom sort. And once the custom sort is done, this is what I said. You may have the list with me. So let me add the level. So you may have like this. Okay, if you have some extra level, something like this, just delete all the level. Don't them. Okay, start with the new one, if at all you have it. So if you are unlucky, you may have it. Otherwise, generally you will have this option with you. Okay, now generally you get this one. Now let's go to the sorting option over here. In the sorting option, I want to sort the grade. So I'll select the grade. I want to sort the grade in the ascending order of this first class, second class, and so on. Again, in your examination, if you are lucky enough, you won't find that list over here in the custom list. Okay, if you are unlucky, you may find that list here, but let's assume that you are unlucky and you have that custom list. So let's go here and let's go to the custom list here, and what you notice that you already have this list with you. Okay, you can use it, no doubt about it, but in this case, if you notice, the third class is given. In our case, there is nothing called as third class. So I'm going to remove this list. Don't remove the Monday, Tuesday, and don't remove it. Actually, you will not be able to do that thing, but don't delete them. Okay, don't delete this list. Delete this one, distinction. If at all you find it, just select it and just click on this delete button, and it's gone. And it's going to ask you for a confirmation. Do you want to delete it? Yes, say yes, and you have deleted it. Okay, after this, let's go for the distinction. Okay, distinction. Okay, let's go for the distinction. Okay, first one, just type the spelling, proper spelling, and then I have the first class, FIRST class. Spelling must be proper, otherwise you will have a problem. Second class, then I have pass class, and finally I have fail. Okay, don't press enter after this. Okay, so you have the first class, just the distinction, type enter, first class, type it and press enter, second class, press enter, first pass, press enter, fail, press enter, click on add. Very, very important thing, click on add, it's going to come here. Okay, then click OK. That's done, and now you notice that it has already selected that custom list. Now, according to them, this is not the end of it. Now, within the first class, distinction, and so on, the average marks should be in the descending order. So you need one more level over here in which the average marks must be in the descending order. So let me go over here and let me add one more level. So I'm going to click on add level. Okay, add level. You can delete the level or you can add the level. Just add the level. Don't try this adding, deleting during the examination. Don't make the research during the examination. Just fix the problems. So add level, select average. Okay, and this must be in the descending order, not the smallest to largest. That means largest to smallest. This is largest to smallest. Average, largest to smallest. Click OK, and what you notice is you will notice that first distinction will come. Within the distinction, 78 average will come first, and then 77. So this is in the descending order. So within the distinction, this is in the distinction, this is in the reverse order. Within the first class, 69 will come first, higher value will come, then the lower value, and so on and so forth. Okay, that is done. So we have completed the first hurdle over here. That is the second hurdle over here. And the last hurdle that we are supposed to cover is we are supposed to create a column chart that shows the roll number versus average marks. So let's select both the columns. I'm going to go here and I'm going to select the roll number. Remember, very important thing, you need to even select the title here, not just the marks, the title also. So click on here, middle, not the fill handle. Click in the middle, click and drag and select all the values. This you have done. Hold the control key and go to the average. So this is what they have said. Let me go here, and this is what they have said, roll number versus average. So click on the average, including the title is required. So click on the title, hold the average before you click it, press down the average button, control button, and click on the average, and then make the selection. So you have a roll number and average being selected. You can do it in any order you want it. So first I'm going to click on the roll number, middle, click and drag. One selection is over. I'm pressing the control button on my keyboard. Click on the average, including the title, and select it. Leave the mouse button first and then the control. So once that is done, let's try to insert the column chart. That is what they have said, create a column chart. So I'm going to go to the insert menu on my insert ribbon. I'll go to the insert ribbon, and inside this insert ribbon I have different columns or different charts over here. Now if you don't find this one on your Microsoft the version that you are using, if you don't find it, there will be something called as chart, and there will be one down arrow. Click on it and then go for the column. There will be something called as column. Okay, so just search for it and then get it. You may get something called as one single icon called as a chart, and when you click on it you may get the options. So it may so happen. Okay, so it's not that every version of Microsoft Excel will show the same thing. There may be a small minor version. However, I'm going to select the 2D column. This is what they have said, create a column chart. Let me click on it, and that's it. I have the average chart being created. Now if you notice it's already done, and click in the middle. Okay, click in the middle of this anywhere. Don't click on the lines or anything. Click in the blank area over here. Click and drag it. Don't use the control or don't do anything. Click and just drag it down and just keep it down over here, and that's all you have done with the work that you are supposed to complete. I'm going to just tell you I'm going to just spend 1 minute explaining to you what problems you may encounter when you are drawing this particular column chart. Okay, so one problem, I'm going to delete it first. I'll select it and press the delete button on my keyboard, and that's done. Now one of the problems generally students are facing is they start the register number as 101. Okay, so this is numerical. You notice that whereas this R101 is non-numerical because there is an alphabet inside it. Now I'm going to just quickly fill this one. So they start with the numerical number. Let me just use the control to get the listing. So 10 register numbers are done. So this is correct. There's nobody says that it is wrong. But the problem now is this is also numeric. This part is also numeric. Average is also numeric. Now what happens? Let me select the roll number and the whole thing. I'm going to press the control button, select the average and the whole thing. So two columns are selected as usual in the previous case. Let me go to the insert and let me go to the column chart as usual. Okay, And when you click on this column chart, you notice that a strange behavior by the Microsoft Excel. Now this is not a strange behavior. This is done because Microsoft Excel thinks that both are numerical, and that is why I'm supposed to draw the chart for both of them. But this is not asked in the examination. Why? What it is trying to do is it will create the bar diagrams for roll number as well as the average, which is not really required. This is not asked. What is asked in the examination is roll number versus average, not roll number and average of the values there. So if you try to get this one, only way in which you can actually change this one, I'm not going to suggest you that. So if you get this one, just delete it. Ensure that your roll numbers are starting with an alphabet, anything with an alphabet, and then drag it and make the selection. Select the whole thing including the roll number, press the control and select the average. Go to the insert menu and then go to the chart. Under the charts you have the column chart, click on it, and you have your chart being created. This is what is required, average versus the roll number. This is the average versus roll number. In the question they have not asked me to change the title or anything of that sort, so I'm not going to do that thing. With this, your exercise is completed. Show your exercise. That's all in this video. Thank you.